it's sad. It really is. And I was just coming to the radio show today, and a gentleman in a wheelchair without a shirt on, one leg, holding a sign about a homeless vet, smoking a cigarette, and I don't know if he's a homeless vet or not. I served 38 years, and I would think twice about doing some of the things I see some of the veterans doing that call themselves vets, and I don't know if they really are or not. And it bothers me a lot, and I can only voice my opinion. It's my own opinion, but that's not what we really want to talk about on the show. Today, I have two guests, Jennifer Helin from Seniors Helping Seniors, and Sara, Almond, who works for the school board, and she is I guess you would say, the manager of the Brevard County Schools Legacy Club. And one of the reasons that Sarah's here today is because, it's a club, and she'll tell you all about it. But before we start that, the reason that we're doing this is it involves people 55 and older, and we're trying to build a membership in that club the same as we are in our own Helping Seniors network. Seniors have to do a better job of advocating for themselves. So many of us have grandchildren, very few don't, but most do. And you got to figure out how we're going to take care of both the children and the elders as we advance forward in the community. So, Jennifer, why don't you start off this morning and introduce Sara, because she's your guest, and go ahead.
So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Sara and the Brevard Legacy Club. I wanted to bring Sara in because a lot of people don't know about Legacy Club, and I think it is a great resource for seniors in the area to take advantage of some of the programs that are available through the Brevard Public Schools. I know my mom and I went last year to Phantom of the Opera at Satellite Beach High, and were absolutely blown away by the performance, the singing, the acting, and the orchestra. I honestly didn't believe it was a real orchestra.
Yes.
I really thought it was piped in music. Couldn't believe that those were people down there, and it was the kids that were down there doing the music. It was amazing.
So many talented students and staff in Brevard Public Schools.
So I wanted to make sure that we talk about what you do with the Legacy Club and what is available to everyone.
Absolutely. Again, thank you for having me on today, Joe and Jen, to talk about Legacy Club. This was a program started through the Department of Government Community Relations, which is where I fit into the whole picture, about 9 years ago. And it was to engage a population of Brevard that might not be connected to a school, might not have a reason to be connected. You mentioned some are grandparents, some are not. So we developed a free membership for residents that are 55 and older. We've got two different levels. Our gold level is age 55 to 64, and then 65 and above is our platinum level. And they receive reduced to free admission to any of the Brevard public school events. So that could be the sporting events. If you're a football fan, baseball fan, volleyball, lacrosse, we have a lot of grandparents letting us know how they follow their grandkids' games and everything. And then, as you mentioned, the performances are very, very popular. Each semester, we put out a fall and a spring theater performance schedule that lists the shows happening at the different schools, and those were probably the most popular.
You mentioned something that was happening over in the Satellite Beach High School auditorium. That auditorium they have there is pretty much state of the art. It's still pretty advanced for a high school, I think.
I'm not sure about the auditorium itself, but I know the performance was absolutely outstanding. Broadway quality.
What I'm talking about, Jennifer, is that I guess maybe Sara knows something about this. Satellite Beach High School has an auditorium over there. It's got a stage and everything. It's pretty well advanced for what I would call the average high school in the United States. Certainly, when I was in high school, we never had anything like that, and it was really different. And I went to a performance there, and I was just amazed at the quality of the equipment and the facility. And I said, with something like this, it's absolutely criminal if we don't have more programs developed to use this type of facility in our high school system.
Yeah, it's a wonderful tool to be able to offer to the students as well, not just that they get to perform there and use those tools to magnify their performance, but that they get to learn that as well. If they decide they want to pursue degrees in theater or pursue that as a career, it's great to be able to give them the exposure to that.
Yeah. Yeah, my high school class president sent me a folder the other day about our 70th.
70th. Wow.
That's 70 high school reunion coming up. And it showed a picture of our high school in 1939. And I started there in 1946. And it looked the same. And, well, it looked the same a few years ago. It converted it to a grade school. But
okay.
We thought we were pretty advanced because we had a gymnasium we could play basketball in, and we had an auditorium with a stage.
Yeah.
And we didn't have all these fancy sound effects. In fact, I remember in 1949 and 1950, the high school state champion for the state of Kentucky was from Brevard, Kentucky, and they did not have a gymnasium. They practiced on an outside dirt court in the wintertime.
Oh, my gosh.
And the tallest guy they had on their team was 6'1". Tallest. They were undefeated one year and lost one game. That was the finals of the state championship the other year.
Wow.
So, but they were country guys, and
yeah.
they ran, and I played basketball.
They had the talent.
One of them in college. And I could know how fast he was and endured. But you know, that's kind of off the subject in a way, but it's a good story, I think. But you know, when you talk about this Legacy Club and thing, how do the Legacy Club? What is really the reason for it, and what does it really do? And how does it? What do you need from the community?
Yeah, absolutely. All great questions that I'm happy to hit on. So I mentioned it was started about 9 years ago to engage the population of Brevard that might not be connected to a school. If you're 55 and older, you might not have children or grandchildren in the schools. You may have relocated here for retirement. So we still wanted to keep that part of the population engaged as voters, as taxpayers, as residents. Certainly they're all contributing to our schools, whether or not they're connected. So this was an opportunity to keep the doors open, to invite the community in and let them know that they're important to us, that they're special. And then I think it's just a huge added bonus that that gold level I mentioned, the 55 to 64, they receive $2 off of admission to any Brevard public school event. And our platinum level, our 65 and older, they're free admission. So we do, it's kind of a little bit of a grassroots campaign where it spreads a lot, word of mouth. We do a few advertisements. I do participate in a few senior events to get the word out, but I have a steady stream of Legacy Club applications that come across my desk. I've got a lot to process this afternoon, actually, to get the cards out. But I would say what we are looking for from the community is just to engage more. So if you're unfamiliar with Legacy Club or you don't have a card yet, I'm happy to give my information. That's probably the easiest way to get plugged in. If you have email, please email me. It's Almond, ALMOND .Sara, SARA at brevardschools.org. Just shoot me an email. We'll start the communication with you to get your information, get the card. We do have a website, but I think email is probably the best and the most efficient way. If you don't have email, you're also welcome to give me a call. That number is 321-633-1000, and my extension is 11644. Give me a call. I'll be happy to take the information over the phone. We'll get the cards out to you. And then that way you can, if there's a school that you're close to, or you've got grandkids at a school, or if you just wanted to check out one of the performances at one of our incredibly talented high schools, that way you'll have your card, your information. You'll be able to attend. I also send out a newsletter via email the months that school's in session August through May. And that just gives an update of what's happening. We can publish some news articles, brag on the incredible things our teachers and students are doing. But we also compile a calendar each month with senior events that are happening. So the school events aren't on it, but our community partners like Seniors Helping Seniors, we work with the Fountains and One Senior Place a lot. We will pull all their events together. So you have the benefit of enjoying Brevard Public School events, but also kind of being in the know for what's happening in the senior community in Brevard.
Well, I think that I see a way here for the seniors and the younger people to start working together. I've advocated for this for years, and saying that we need to do a better job of working together, build programs that help each other. It's a sad thing that I love football, and I played for 11 years, and I live right around the corner from Satellite High School, and I've never been to one of their games.
We've got to get you to a game, Joe.
The opportunity.
Now, since I know that Jennifer's son is playing for Satellite High, maybe I'll get Jennifer to take me a game, and I'll have a nurse to take care of me because, my wife doesn't particularly like. I don't know if Terry would really like to watch football. If she knew somebody, she would know Grant. So it might be something different there, but. I would have a built-in nurse with Jennifer, and she's very strong.
So mind your manners. Yeah. But, that's one of the reasons why I love the program that Sara has with the Legacy Club, because, at Seniors Helping Seniors, we're always encouraging people to stay out, stay active, be social. And this is such a great way to do that for seniors, to go out and go around to their local school. And what a great memory from you playing football for so many years. What a fun night that would be to go out,
absolutely,
watch the game. It really brings back some great memories for me as a kid watching games. So now going out to see my son play is a lot of fun.
Well, it makes a lot of difference because I keep getting invitations from the naval government to go back. I rode crew there, and they want me to come back for the crew team things. I can't do it. I go back for the football things. I can't do it. And the same thing for my college before I went to the Naval Academy and went into the Navy. But you just can't do these things. But what you need to do, I personally see the Legacy Club as a potential way for seniors to get more involved in helping people.
Absolutely. I agree. I think that's a great point. That's something I include every issue of our e-newsletter that goes out. I've got information in there if they're interested in becoming a volunteer or a mentor or getting involved. We've got information on what that process would look like. We don't have a volunteer program at the district level, but each school has their own individual program. And some of just practical ideas of what you can do if you're a mentor. All it takes, it's 30 minutes, ideally 30 minutes a week that you would come meet with that student and have lunch with them. Just be an ear to listen to them. Share stories, give them love that they may not be getting from other adults in their life. Mentorship is wonderful. And actually Hoover Middle, which is in the Indy Atlantic area, they have a phenomenal mentorship program that we like to try to model our other ones after. But if it's not mentorship, if that's too much of a commitment, or if you're traveling or busy, even just getting signed up as a volunteer to chaperone a field trip. We have some schools throughout the county that have lower family or community involvement. And so sometimes their field trips aren't able to happen because they don't have enough chaperones. So we do have an older gentleman in the Legacy Club. He lives closer to Indian River County, but he's still a resident. And he's signed up as a volunteer just to chaperone at all of University Park Elementary's field trips, which I think is a wonderful idea. Reading in the classroom to the elementary school grades, that goes a really long way too. There's infinite possibilities of things. I would say whatever your interest or your gifting is, that you could reach out to that volunteer coordinator at your local school, and they would find a place for you.
Well, there are a lot of, Sara and Jennifer, there are a lot of programs that grandparents are involved in, but we don't know enough about them. And one of them is a program called Grandparents Helping Grandchildren. And it's a great program, and one of the sad things about it, the county 3 years ago made a decision to take away the money from nonprofits, and this is something that the majority of people in Brevard County are not aware of. most nonprofits have to depend on some viable source of funding that's steady. Our organization is built more on a business model, and hopefully we keep the business model going and we can fund our operations well into the future. But other organizations don't do it the same way, and it depends on charitable gifts too much. And if those charitable gifts don't materialize, they're not going to be able to stay in business. And you lose a real valuable source of older people that'll do exactly what you're talking about, Sarah. I remember a lady from Satellite Beach that had the rolling reader program.
Right, yeah.
You remember her name?
I don't, but I know it's still active.
It's still active, but she went to our church, and Mrs. Eason.
Okay.
And but she's passed away. She's dead now. But she started that rolling reader program, and I know how she was just enamored of that program. She went out of her way to get people to help children learn to read. And we have a lot of seniors out there that could not only help children read, but they could tell them stories. When I grew up, we had history in high school and talked about the formation of the United States and how we were developed and the settlers and the westward movement and everything. You don't do that today. Yet there are so many seniors that get pass that knowledge and lore on to children who are very interested. I find that if I get a youngster and we start talking and I mention some of the things like that, they want to know about that because they don't know about it. And
right.
Most youngsters are interested in knowing how their country was formed. And they want to be able to look forward to the future and see how they can be a bigger part of it. And so seniors can do that. And I think that we just sell seniors short. And one of the reasons we're doing is we really don't have a strong advocacy program. And I really think that maybe, Jennifer, you could help Sarah know more about our Senior Resource Center that we now have formed over at Zahn, because helping seniors, Sarah has now got an office located in Zahn.
That's wonderful.
Facility, and we have 6 services there that are sort of geared toward helping seniors. But what's important is that those 6 organizations, I think, if we work together, can work with programs like some of the school programs, some of the other programs that where children need some kind of a real mentor. I've heard so much about big brothers and big sisters, but I've never really seen anything concrete come out of the program. I hear them when they go for funding, when they want money from the county. I hear about them then. But I never see any advertisements. I never see anything on the radio or television about these organizations helping people. And that's where I think helping seniors differs from a lot of organizations. We do have, in fact, my column in a newspaper, in fact, Hometown News, I had a call from a man that teaches writing, and he is putting together a pamphlet for both the Democrats and Republicans for the 2020 elections, and he's trying to figure out how he can get the real facts out, that instead of having a Republican say this and a Democrat say that, how both can say this is the truth, and this is what we need to think about, getting the parties to think together. That's the same thing as getting youngsters and older people to work together. Same thing as Republicans and Democrats working together. If we don't do something, our country's not going to be as great as it was. And I don't care how much our president says, make America great again. They have to have the will to do it. So, what else? I asked you several questions. One thing, You said you had a schedule of upcoming events. How do people access that schedule? I know that people find out about our television shows by going, they can call the office or they can go to the Senior Scene magazine to see the schedule. How do people see your schedule?
Absolutely. Again, so I'll give my information again because I'm always happy to send it to you. It is on our, if you go to brevardschools.org, that's our main homepage. Under Government and Community Relations, you'll find the link for Legacy Club. It'll take a little digging, but it's there. We keep it on the website. But if you'd like me to send that to you, again, my email, it's Almond, ALMOND, .Sara, SARA, at brevardschools.org. Shoot me an email and I can send it over, or you're always welcome to try me on the phone, 321-633-1000. And my extension is 11644. I can take your information and get that over to you. If you are a Legacy Club member, you get that calendar sent to you and the e-update that goes out once a month. Usually the end of the month, the next month prior will come out. So actually September's is scheduled to go out this afternoon. And then our theater schedule, we usually get access to that in October for the fall and the winter performances. They'll run anywhere from October all the way to when school gets out for winter break. And then we have our theater schedule is usually available around February. And then that will be the spring shows from February through May when school gets out for the summer. I know May is always a really busy month for end of the year performances. That's where some of the great ones, maybe that when you saw Phantom from Satellite Beach. So yeah, I would say email, calling me. You can find it on our website, which again is brevardschools.org. And it doesn't take much to become a member. We just take basic information, name, date of birth, so we know which level you fall in. And then we do take your address, of course, to mail you those cards, phone number, and email. If people do have email, I recommend they give it. We don't spam you. You'll get one email a month from me, but that's just to keep you informed of what's going on.
I'm going to take a chance. Do you have the football games on that schedule?
We do not. We've got over 83 schools. We've got 16 high schools. So at the district, we don't keep a running list of all of them. There's nobody to manage all the info. So what I tell the best way to find that information out is to contact the school directly, because if there's changes, if the date changes, if it's canceled, that doesn't always make it to us, and we would hate to send you to an event that's not happening. So the front office is always the best way to get that.
I knew I was going to put myself on the line, you on the line when I asked that question.
No, because, it's a great question, and we do get it. I wish there was a way to make it easier, and I'm sure that's something we can work on, but that would probably become a full-time job for me to manage 83
I'm sure
different
it would. I'm sure it
locations.
Would. Because the only place you can get it right now is Florida Today, and how long we're going to have Florida Today, I don't know. But I hate to see us lose that. And folks, we're approaching our mid-show break time, and you ready for me to wrap it up, John? Okay, I'm getting a nod, not a shake, but a nod. So with that said, folks, I want to thank Sara for being here to talk about the Legacy Club, and I'll wrap up this first part of the show. But stay with us, because Sara's still going to be here. In case somebody wants to call us, you can call, and the phone number is 722-9998 here at the station, 722-9998. You don't have to identify yourself, but you can call if you want to. Stay with us.
12:35 in the afternoon here on 90.3 FM. It's Wednesday, Helping Seniors of Brevard. Once again, here's the host of Helping Seniors of Brevard and the founder, Joe Steckler. Hi, Joe.
Thank you, John. Welcome back to the second half of today's Helping Seniors show. I want to mention just a couple of three or four of our sponsors, because one of them is a guy named August Belton, and August is a financial planner, and he's not a stockbroker. He doesn't see how many stocks he can sell and make a profit off each one he sells. He tries to help you build the right kind of portfolio. And you have other places like Chateau Madeleine, who's just about to come online as a senior living and memory care place. Ear Care, Hibiscus Court, Lee Sheldon, who is a dentist, periodontist, and Lee is well informed about nutrition and everything else. So we talk about a whole host of things on our shows, not just the fact that it might be a dentist or something like that. But one of the people I have today, Jennifer Helin, is the owner of Seniors Helping Seniors. And I think it's always important that every time I have somebody that has experience in taking care of seniors, that we let them talk about what they do, because I find, Jennifer and Sarah, that so many people don't understand what different care advertisers can really do. If you see a truck going down the street that says, I care for seniors, I'm making fun of it a little bit, but they may not be able to do certain things. And it's important that you get the care outfit that can provide the type of care that you need. I want you to talk about that, Jennifer, but I also want you to talk about a scam, because it's something I know you want to tell everybody. But first, about your business and what you do and why that's important for people to know this.
We do. The services include transportation, light housekeeping, meal preparation. We have taken care of dogs, cats, bunny rabbits, parrots, pretty much anything non-medical that a senior needs, we are able to help with, as little as 2 hours, as much as a 24/7.
I think it's important for people to know that, because I had a classmate that lived up in the Merritt Island area, and he's a couple of years younger than I am, and he and his wife especially, needed help. And this man was doing the cooking and doing everything. And he ran across a couple of people that were sponsors for us. He called me. And one of the sponsors we had at the time was help people downsize. And she went into the home and helped the guy and his wife get things organized. And it made their task a lot easier. And then I think they called you, and I'm not sure if it was you or another service that went in and helped them prepare meals. And Dave was really happy about that, because he said the food was a lot better. So it's important that you realize that some of these things that you think are going to break your bank, they're not going to break your bank. And quite frankly, they're going to help you not break your bank, because it's going to provide the early hands-on care that will keep you from going into more advanced, costly elements of care later rather than earlier.
Right, that is our goal, prevention. So if we are able to cook nutritious, healthy meals, encourage hydration, take a look at the house and make sure that they do have grab bars in place, that the pathways are clear. If we can prevent a fall, that's huge. We want to be able to keep people at home and healthy. And you're right, if there's a fall, if something happens, then unfortunately that's a hospital stay, rehab, and then higher levels of care might be necessary. So we want to, in the very beginning, prevent that from happening.
I'd like to remind people, too, that falls are probably are rated as one of the highest attributing causes to deaths of seniors, falls.
Absolutely.
And it really bothers me when I see a senior holding on to, hobbling, doing everything but the right thing, just so they don't have to use a cane. And it never makes sense to me. I was one lady that would come to church, and she'd hold on to the back of each pew in order to get down to where she wanted to sit, rather than ever use a cane. I talked to her about it. She wouldn't pay attention. She fell, and she died as a result of the fall. And it's so sad. But that's one aspect of it. You said you had a scam. Before we get in, look, how about talking about that too? Because this thing's coming up. This is the time of year where more of this stuff occurs.
So I wanted to bring it up because unfortunately it's something that's happened to a client that we currently have, and we see scams. I'm part of Brevard County Triad, who is the state attorney's office, the local sheriffs, local police. So we see these scams often come through, but I think people think, oh, it's someone else. That's not really here in Brevard County. That couldn't happen to me or to my neighbor. And unfortunately, these things do happen all of the time right here in the county. And there's two things. There's two problems that make seniors susceptible. Number one, a lot of our older folks come from a generation where a handshake meant something. So they're very trusting. The second problem is that even in early stages of memory loss, that trust factor is affected. So seniors are much more, if there is any dementia whatsoever, their judgment is impaired. So they will trust, they will make plans, they will sign into contracts that are not in their best interest. So families, loved ones, power of attorney, banks, everyone needs to be very, very careful when it comes to financial decisions. So going to the actual scam itself, there are a lot of scams that you hear out there that unfortunately the folks say, well, you're going to win the lotto, but you have to give us money first. Or you are going to do great in this investment, but you have to give us money first. You give us the money, you give us your bank account information. As soon as it's deposited, we will deposit this huge sum into your bank. This gentleman, unfortunately, in the history, about 5 years ago, was scammed for about $10,000. I don't know if it's the same scammers, had any relation to that old case, but our provider, our caregiver was there, and this gentleman's getting these phone calls over and over and over again. It's a scam. So she convinces him it's a scam, but there's a little bit of a memory issue there. So when she goes back, gentleman's still calling. And he's convinced that he needs to go to the bank, take out $3,000 so that they can then put the money in his bank. She took him to the bank. The bank convinced him that, no, this is a scam. It's not a good idea. We talked to the family. Family's keeping a close eye on things. We're really being very cautious with this, trying to block phone numbers. While we were gone, because we're not there every day, unfortunately, we're there 2 or 3 times a week with this gentleman. He took a taxi to the bank. What we believe, and we have not been able to, the family has not determined this yet, is that that was not a taxi. It was the scammer. The scammer sent someone to take him to the bank. So unfortunately, they were trying every way they could. And
did he take the money out of the bank and give it to him?
Yes.
3,000?
No.
How much?
1,000.
1,000.
Now the family realizes he needs more care because his decision making is not good. The bank accounts have all been changed. The phone number has been changed. Things have been put into place so that this does not happen again. But it shows everything was being done to prevent this, and it still happened. And that money should be spent on his care, on his happiness. It's his retirement. He should be enjoying all that money. These scammers should not be getting anything, and they should be held accountable. The authorities are involved. It is so hard. They said that very rarely are they actually able to catch someone with this type of scam.
I know that. I know it. And we have advocated for years that if somebody says they are calling from Social Security, that is the first sign that you should hang up, because Social Security does not call you, does not email you, does not use the internet or anything. They send you a letter. And you can tell if the letter is valid or not, or if you have a question. There are several social service offices here in Brevard County. You can take the letter there and ask a question. The second thing that you should always be aware of, if somebody says that you should put money in to get more money, hang the phone up, because it is a scam. There is nobody, to my knowledge, that gives money away unless it's Publishers Clearinghouse, and I don't know how many people have ever really hit the thing from Publishers Clearinghouse, but my wife and I took a lady to church for years that was convinced she had won $10 million from Publishers Clearinghouse, and no matter what we said to her, we never convinced her that was a scam. I think it really came home to roost to me when a good friend of mine, who was a fellow submarine officer and had commanded a submarine, admitted to me that he took the handshake on a roofing deal after one of the hurricanes, and he paid the guy up front to fix his roof, and he lost $4,000. And he passed away now. He's dead now, but he told me, Joe, he said, that was the most stupid thing I ever did in my life. He said, you just don't pay people up front. He said, I knew better, but I did it anyway. And, we have to be careful. We want to be trusting. And Jennifer hit the nail right straight on the head, folks. And I ask a question. Sara, in your work with the school board and working with seniors and everything, do you ever come across stuff like this?
I do. I have a background. Before I was with the school board, I worked for the Visiting Nurse Association. That's in Indian River.
What now?
The Visiting Nurse Association.
Oh, okay.
VNA. They do
right.
home care here in Brevard. And, I was exposed to some of the same stories, but I think through groups like Triad, through helping seniors, through seniors helping seniors, it's all about the knowledge and educating and letting people know, what signs to look for.
Yeah, that's the truth, and it's just like anything that we can do to help people. If we don't figure out a way to publicize it, it's not going to happen. That worries me more because the gentleman that called me about publishing a book, he complimented us on our columns in the newspaper. He said, I teach writing. He said, your columns are well written, and he said they're informative. He says you don't beat around the bush, and you give people a straight answer. And he says, I can tell that you know what you're talking about, or the way you write. And he said that's something that we lack across the board. And you took it forward today. I'll tell you, Florida Day has 3 or 4 people that write about the restaurants here in Brevard County. And they write about the same restaurants all the time. I think they must have someplace where they get pictures of different things where they drip sauces all over the plate, and they call this outstanding food. But Lord goodness, I don't know where all those restaurants are that are so good, because I sure as heck can't find them. If I go farther than a mile and a half from my house past Beef O'Brady's, I've expanded my range because I love Beef O'Brady's.
I was going to say, that's because you're addicted to Beef O'Brady's.
I guess I am. Folks, since Jennifer brought it up, I'll mention it. Tuesday night at Beef O'Brady's, they have chicken. They have steak, chicken, and shrimp tacos that are outstanding. And it's not like the stuff that you get at Taco Bell where everything's ground up and pushed down to the bottom of the thing. These things are full of lettuce and cheese and chicken. They're outstanding.
You're selling me. I think I know what I'm doing for dinner on Tuesday night.
That's the advantage of it. That's something about when I talked to John Harper when I first started in radio. He said, talk radio is a wonderful thing because talk radio can just about talk about a subject of interest to anyone. And since we're talking about seniors today, I want to mention something because it's extremely important, I think, because we have over 75,000 veterans here in Brevard County, and the Veterans Department has recently extended the range of men and women eligible for Agent Orange poisoning during Vietnam out to the 12-mile limit at sea, because they realize now that some of the stuff drifted offshores from all the smoke from everything from Agent Orange. It wasn't just contained over the land. And the second thing is that in Afghanistan today, and in Afghanistan and Iraq, they have what they call burn pits, and they throw metal, arsenic, all kinds of waste products and everything into these burn pits and burn this stuff. Well, those fumes are toxic, and we're finding now that already proven that this stuff can cause cancer in our men and women that had served over there. And if the reason I know it's so important is because we had a gentleman that we know that was in the Air Force for a short period of time in Vietnam, and he was stationed in country, and he developed cancer here not too long ago, and it's being treated successfully for it right now. It's in remission, but it was attributed to Agent Orange. And what was important about it is that the men and women that are 100% disabled from Agent Orange are entitled to full retirement benefits. That means a pension, that means commissary privileges, that means medical privileges. It means a lot of things. And in the treatment of his cancer, this became extremely important. So, but he wouldn't have known about some of this had he not been a good friend to another man that when he woke up one time in Vietnam, his legs were laying on his chest after he'd been stitched with an AK-47 burst. And this man is still having operations from Vietnam. So there's a lot that goes on that we just don't know, and that's why it's so important to write about this stuff, to have the television shows, to talk about it. And what's more important is that you, the listeners, when you hear us talk about this stuff on the radio, you can pass this on to your friends, you can pass it on to your church clubs, you can pass it on to your pastor at your church. Some of these people will talk about this stuff from the pulpit, and they'll just mention it. And if we did more of this talking about some of the things that are important to people that put in the care system, I think we could do a lot to help a lot of people. But this game, and Sarah mentioned one thing to me and Jennifer, well, Sarah and Jennifer, about with this hurricane coming our way, folks. So we don't know where it's going to go yet, and I don't want to get people all excited and run to the store and buy all the plastic bottles of water that the store sells. But the number, if you want to register for anything for Brevard Emergency Management, is a place to call, and that phone number is 321-637-6670. I'll say it again, 321-637-6670. And if you have a question, go ahead, Jennifer.
Or just keep an eye on their website. They have a Facebook page. Sarah found where you can text them, and they'll text you updates. They will have all of the news for Brevard County for the storm. So they will keep everyone updated. If they do declare a state of emergency, that's where it will be first. If they open shelters, that's where the list will be first. So keep an eye on Brevard County Emergency Management's website.
Yeah, this is really handy. I found on their Facebook page. So it is Brevard County Emergency Operations Center. If you text 888-777, that's the number, 888-777. You just have to text Brevard EOC to that number. Then you will be signed up to receive text message updates from them.
What's important, folks, is that all the talk we do about calling these phone numbers, what's important is that some of the people that are in certain medical stages or certain stages where they are not mobile enough and they can't get out of their house by themselves, these people need to call that number and identify themselves as needing assistance. And you don't want to wait till the last minute. Every hurricane that we've been associated with since I've been here in Brevard County doing radio, and I know John has chased hurricanes, and when he had the radio station, we used to he was always there standing in the station, giving people the warnings and all that stuff. But, we can't wait till the last minute for people that are truly incapacitated. You have to let the people know that take care of you. Shelters can do so much, but you've got to be able to get to the shelter. And if you can't do it by yourself, you can't wait till the last minute and expect a policeman to get you there.
It's true, and we've seen the same thing with Seniors Helping Seniors. The last two storms in particular, We tried. We went through the Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce, and any senior that called, we were trying to help people put up shutters. And I had a lady call from Titusville that had no materials, nothing. You know, we were really worried about that one storm that it was going to hit. It was going to hit at a 4 or 5. Luckily, it didn't. But she had nothing, and it was the day before the storm, and there was no place to even get her materials. Home Depot, Lowe's, everybody was sold out. There was absolutely nothing anyone could do for her. So I just pleaded with her to please go to a shelter.
Okay. Sarah, last time, how do people get a hold of you for the Legacy Club?
Absolutely.
Give us that one more time.
For Legacy Club, you can email me, Almond, ALMOND, .Sara at brevardschools.org. You could go to brevardschools.org, the website, and search for Legacy Club, or you can call me at 321-633-1000, extension 11466.
If they call 633-1000, will they get an operator if they can't remember your extension?
Absolutely. 633-1000, that is the district number. You'll get our customer care department that can always track me down.
If you can just remember that 633-1000. That'll get you started in the right direction.
They'll track me down.
Jennifer, Seniors Helping Seniors, you got 30 seconds.
Seniors Helping Seniors, 321-722-2999. Give us a call.
I won't give you a phone number if you're a cell phone because I finally remembered it, and I won't tell anybody that. But thank you for listening to us today, folks. It's important. We joke a lot, but Legacy Club is something that could be extremely important to grow with grandparents and grandchildren. Children are just senior citizens. You can become a grandparent like I did for a beautiful 11-year-old little girl. And I value her friendship, and you'll learn to value friendships with other people that you meet. So with that, having said, I wish you a good weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.